Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So why did Bitcoin pull back today? Why did U.S. market bleed today? Well, let me explain. And it's not for good reasons. In fact, it's a real head scratcher for most people. So I'm going to try to explain it and explain what to expect. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. Look at this. Whew, that looks bad. The Dow went down about 400, almost 400. NASDAQ went down. A lot of stocks went down today. Today was supposed to be a good day. Bitcoin is also down slightly, still above 30,000. So overall still going sideways, but a little bit lower than this morning. But what is the reason for today's weakness? Well, like I said, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Today, we got some good, fantastic jobs numbers. Okay, let's just say that, because there's more than one. We had a whole lot of people find new jobs, and companies also didn't lay off as much. So it's like two really good things. Really good things. You have more Americans now that are working, less Americans that are getting laid off, okay? These are fantastic news that should send markets rallying upwards, right? We are recovering. But no, that's not how it works, because we live in bizarre world right now. That's why markets tanked today. Wall Street sold off because of this. Why? Well, it's due to this, which is really stupid. The FOMC meeting that's coming up in a couple weeks. Okay? 92% chance, over 92% chance that we will get another rate hike. This was already priced in, but now it's more priced in. And even if you look at the September one, it's starting to rise up. And that's because of today's numbers. Because people feel, or at least they're brainwashed into thinking that, well, if we have really strong labor market, it's going to lead to further rate hikes, because Powell has everyone fooled into thinking this is the primary reason why we have inflation. Okay? It has nothing to do with the $6 trillion that was printed over the last few years. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just because people are buying too much, so we need to make people broke. We need to jumpstart unemployment. So this is going against that, right? So this is the reason why markets sold off. And if we continue to get strong economic numbers, unfortunately, most likely we're going to get more rate hikes. Powell already said there's going to be a couple more. There's supposed to be 25 basis points. But if the market continues to heat up, if I don't know, inflation numbers, right? If inflation numbers somehow reverses and job market gets stronger, who knows? Maybe he does 50 basis points, right? Like he may go wild to try to curb inflation. Unfortunately, that's what happened today. And it's just really silly. It should not be the case. You should be angry about this, because this is not what should bring down markets. This is the last reason. This is the last reason we should have to sell off, right? It makes no sense. But that's why we have Bitcoin, because Bitcoin makes sense. This is why Satoshi created something that isn't controlled by the Fed, by any Fed or governments or banks. Okay, that's why we have Bitcoin, because a lot of things don't make sense. Banks go through weakness. Banks crash. The Fed keeps on raising rates. And our government continues to print money at an unsustainable rate. All that is leading to something bad. That's why we have Bitcoin, right? So, regardless of all the nonsense that's out there, Bitcoin is still holding about 30,000. Okay? That's a win. That's a real win. And Glassnode's co-founder predicts bull run is still coming. Of course it is, right? I don't think anyone doubts, and none of you guys watching is doubting whether or not Bitcoin's bull run is coming. In fact, we already started, There's no stopping the bull run, right? We may go sideways for a little bit. I already said that many times. We may go sideways a little bit. Or maybe this is just a blip in the road, some consolidation. And then afterwards, we continue to move forward once again. You know, we talk a lot about the halving, right? It's coming up, less than a year. In fact, if you want to know exactly how many blocks need to be found before the next halving event, it's about 43,000 blocks, okay? It's not that far off. And again, if you need some kind of confirmation, look at that halving point in the middle, and then look at the price movement of Bitcoin upwards, right? That's how it's always been. Will it continue? I think so. We just don't know how high, but that's usually the point when things get really crazy. And also, this time around, it's different. Why? Here's one of the reasons. You can see Bitcoin supply has always been going up until this last cycle when it started going down. And it's been going down and down and down and down. So not every cycle going forward will be the same as before. In fact, this makes every cycle going forward even more bullish because we get more people that's coming into the space, especially institutions, but we have less Bitcoin available for them. So who knows what's going to happen this bull cycle? Okay, are we going to see a tremendous move to some unknown level? Yes, yes. And it's not just institutions, shrimps, crabs, minnows, whatever. Anything that's not a whale continues to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. So these are all great things. But let's not forget, we have Bitcoin Spot ETF right around the corner. Could be one of the biggest launches in the history of any ETF, but just imagine the type of money or the amount of money that will be coming in once we get some true Bitcoin spot ETFs. Something that's also very different from all previous cycles. We never, ever, ever had a spot Bitcoin ETF in the US. That will also be very different this time around. So there's a lot of bullish things to look forward to in this current cycle. So stay strong, my friends. Even though right now we have some shenanigans, we have Wall Street panic selling for no good reason because fears of Powell, right? But for us Bitcoiners, we are not panicking. We are staying focused. Focused on the future, focused on the next halving event, focused on the parabolic run that comes after the halving event. It's all coming. It's all coming. Now, let's talk about some alts, some good and not so good news. So for Ripple, I know it's a fan favorite. Ripple has some good news and bad news, okay? Ripple X, which is a team charged with support and development of XRP Ledger, has announced a significant milestone. Basically, there is this accelerator for the XRP Ledger. This is kind of like outside of Ripple, even though most of the teams developing on top of Ripple Ledger or XRP Ledger is funded by Ripple, but still there's somewhat of separation. And, you know, this acceleration program is, of course, to draw dApp makers in. There's grants up to $50,000, right? So overall, XRP, the ledger at least, is growing. And there's going to be future dApps on board. So more dApps, more usage, more users, more deflationary, price goes up, right? It's that simple. So I think that's pretty positive overall. That's overall. Of course, we're still waiting for the lawsuit to be settled with the SEC. We don't know when that's going to happen. Okay, could it be this week? Could it be tomorrow? Could it be next week? A month from now? Hopefully soon, because Brad Garlinghouse already said, you know, a few weeks ago, it's coming up really quickly. So even he expects a quick settlement soon. However, Ripple also has some bad news. Ripple Labs is being sued by some of its top investors. Okay, why? Because they claim or they allege that Ripple, came up with a scheme to raise hundreds of millions of dollars through the sale of XRP, unregistered security, to retail investors in violation of registration provisions of federal state security laws. Basically, they're accusing Ripple of basically selling unregistered security, just like the SEC. But these are from Ripple investors, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just bitter at this point. They've been holding for so many years. I don't know what this is going to accomplish. Are they going to get more? Are they going to bring more firepower than the SEC is? No. So I don't really know. So, of course, John Dayton, who has been, XRP advocate and been defending XRP, he's like, this is stupid. This is stupid, right? This is not going to amount to anything. It's just probably bitter people that want something, right? But just wait until XRP or Ripple wins its lawsuit against the SEC. It's gonna be a catalyst, like something we have never ever witnessed before, because we never had a big project fight the SEC and win, right? Just wait until that happens. So we have some good news and bad news. What else? What else is good news? Tether is launching on Kava, which Kava is on top of Cosmos. So technically, now we have Tether on top of Cosmos. Sort of, right? So Tether is still branching out. Kava is a L1, a DeFi L1 built with Cosmos SDK. So now Kava's ecosystem gets Tether, but because of that, and because there's IBC, inter-blockchain communication, other project can talk to Kava and utilize Tether, and also Osmosis will probably link up to, so there'll probably be some new USDT pairs on Osmosis. So overall, this is a net positive. And also, Japan's largest bank, which happens to be Mitsubishi in the US is dead, but in Japan, they are among the biggest in Japan, and the biggest bank in Japan is Mitsubishi UFJ Trust and Banking. Well, they will be bringing some Japanese-based stablecoins to Cosmos. Every stablecoin right now is based on USD, right? Soon we'll get some that's based on yen. That's pretty good for Cosmos as well. Net positive. Net positive. What else is positive or negative? Well, negative, there's some FUD over Binance once again. According to Fortune, senior executives quit because of the DOJ investigation. This includes general counsel, chief strategy officer, and senior VP of compliance. 3 people, major executives, they're all leaving Binance due to CZ's response to the DOJ investigation. Is this true? Of course, whenever there's anything bad, CZ always puts out more FUD about departures. Yes, there's turnover at every company, but the reasons dreamed up by the news are completely wrong. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically saying this is FUD. People leave all the time. But I find it funny that, this response is, yeah, you have the general counsel, chief strategy officer, and SVP of compliance all resigning the same week, but the response is for FUD. So I don't know what to think of this. Is this really true? Is it a coincidence? I don't know, but I do know this. CZ and Binance will get through this. Okay, so that's the bottom line. What else? Kraken. Unfortunately, Kraken is also facing some FUD right now. Jesse Powell's under federal investigation on claims of hacking, cyber stalking, a nonprofit which he created himself. Something called Verge Center for the Arts. It has nothing to do with crypto, but it's some kind of nonprofit that he started before, and then I guess he left, And he is being looked at because supposedly he hindered their computer accounts, obstructed access to emails and other messages. So I don't know where that's going to go and whether or not that's real FUD. But so yeah, there's that. And then lastly, has not more FUD, I guess. Floor prices of popular NFTs. That's a massive drop right there, going all the way back to about mid 2022. And it's true. I looked up like a Bored Ape. Its floor price has now fallen to 30 ETH, which is still a lot. But I remember Bored Apes getting up to like 150, 200, 250 ETH in its heyday. Now down to 30. Will it continue to drop? NFTs are definitely dropping, just like all the other crypto out there. It just took a while, I guess. It took a long while before things really started going downwards. But will they come back? I do believe so. NFTs are not going to go away. They're not going to go away. Just like crypto, they may fall, but these OG ones, right, they will continue forward and recover and gain popularity with the next bull run. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Dan says, hey, George, if you had a time machine, would you go back and buy BTC or Amazon at its birth? Of course, BTC. Nothing has outperformed BTC. But here's the thing. Knowing what you know, you might be greedy and go back and say, I'm going to buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin or $1 million worth of Bitcoin. But who knows if you'll change the outcome of Bitcoin or Amazon by being such a whale early on, because it may turn off the early community thinking that it's just a pure money grab or there's something fishy going on. So you never know. You never know how you may disrupt the time-space continuum. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if I missed anything. Wolves, so interesting way to spell it. We're all George. Thank you for that. Let's see. DOJ should investigate Gary Gensler. A lot of people saying bad things about ICP. What happened with ICP? Is it dumping? It's still holding well. A lot of people, I'm not a fan of ICP. I'm just neutral. Don't like some of the stuff. But it seems like a lot of people do not like ICP. All right, caught up here. Is there any chance BTC will run out by the end of 2024? No, Eli, no. It's not going to happen that soon. There's still a couple million. Even though the reserves are dropping rapidly, okay? But still, there's still a lot out there. Unless BlackRock just says, I'm going to put $1 trillion into Bitcoin, then maybe, yes. But not that soon. Red Rapper, I appreciate that. Brian and someone else asked about the house. It's still going well. Still very expensive, but a lot of progress this week. I'll make another house video soon. I've been waiting for more progress, so it's going. It's going. Has the Shibarian launch date been announced? No. That Shytoshi is supposed to do some appearance. I don't know when that date is exactly. I have a funny story about Pepe too. Um, I know it's like really hot right now, but whether it can sustain, I don't know. But prior to that, a lot of you guys know I was, degenning into a lot of meme coins, part of some groups, and all of them just like did not do well at all. They all just like pumped initially and then all dumped. And then someone that I'm not that familiar with reached out and said, hey, you know what? I'm starting a new meme coin. I'm part of this group that's starting one, right? What are your thoughts? And I told them, hey, it's really hard. It's tough. There's not a good market, especially ERC-based meme coins. Don't sustain. At the time, only Snek did really well, and that was because it was based in Cardano. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll make sure it takes profits, right? And then, boom. It turns out it was Pepe too, so I missed out on that. I'm sure someone is working on Pepe 3 right now. Is H-bar goodbye? I don't know. I get I don't know, like, people keep asking about H-bar. It's like, I don't know what the attraction there is. I'll just say it's neutral, in my opinion. I like others better, but doesn't mean that H-bar can't do better in the coming bull market. But I concentrate on other chains that I like better. Multiverse X, horrible name. Used to be Elron. And their symbol's even worse. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Multiverse X. Did they move to Binance or something? Why does it say Binance Smart Chain? They weren't on Binance before. Yeah, so I haven't heard much about Multiverse X recently. I just think it's a really stupid name. But, they're still close to $1 billion in market cap, so not doing too bad. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy gain. I will say this, okay? People that made money, great. But just like the last two hyped up meme coins, Milady went up to about 134 million in market cap. And where is it now? 25 million, right? Snek went up to 100 and something million. Where is it now? 27 million. Okay, so if you are making good money with meme coins, this seems to be the next hyped up one. It's close to 100 million. So it may get there. It may get to 110, 140, whatever, right? But just like the last two that was very hyped up, they have fallen tremendously. So if you buy at the top, you will lose a lot of money. So it's important, if you're degenning into meme coins for fun, for gamble, whatever, make sure you take profits out. You have to take profits out while it's going up, or you may lose it all and lose even more money on top of that. Take it from experience. None of these will become the next Pepe. So make sure you take profits. I was using KuCoin a month ago, and now I went to use it to try to do KYC. It's telling me not a provider in the region. You can't do KYC with KuCoin in the U.S. I believe they never allowed it. I don't know if they changed, but no. That's why a lot of people stop using KuCoin, because they become really restrictive. I mean, the U.S. government is going after them, so they have to. So if you want like you have to look for another exchange, basically. Or get used to using DEXs. DEXs, still not a whole lot of people use them. Not a lot of people use their own wallet to connect to DEXs, but really learn, because it's a really useful skill to have. Filecoin thoughts? I don't really have any thoughts on Filecoin. It is the biggest decentralized storage play. They're trying to come out their own L2, but I haven't heard much about that. In terms of decentralized storage, there's a few big ones. I still like Arweave better, but Filecoin does hold a bigger market cap. Or are you going to DCA? I did that last night. Look up Ni Hao, bro. Of course I know what that is. I'm telling you guys, this is not the time to be getting Pepe 2 FOMO. It's already too high. It's close to 90 million. The last two, Snek and Milady, both hit around 100, 110 before they start selling off big time. It's going to happen with Pepe too. So if you're in the green, take profits, take a lot of it, lock in as much as you can. Don't fall for the trap thinking it's going to become the next Pepe. Make sure you take a lot of profits. When you're in Vegas, will you grab Wemby's shoulder? Is he in Vegas? We can't go wrong with Bitcoin, of course. Do you recommend Shaq's shoes? Does he have really inexpensive shoes? Like, basically, he's coming out for kids or families that can't afford very expensive sneakers. That's what I've heard, and good for him for doing that. I remember when I was in grade school, high school, that's when, the first Shaqs came out, the Reebok pumps. I got them, and everyone was, like, going so crazy about it, I still remember those days. The Vegas party sold out? Nope. Still spots left. I did an interview with Altcoin Daily today, because they're go play next week, but they might be showing up. So it'll be good if they show up. But we got a lot of projects signed up. Some big announcements. Actually pretty big. I can't say who, but there's gonna be big announcements from projects. Overall, what's wrong with Vegas? I saw that MGM released their Sphere on TikTok. Is nothing but like that Sphere, and they're doing some crazy stuff with that in Vegas. It's gonna be a good time. But I welcome all of you guys to join. There's still time. Go to wag.life, WAAG.life. And then you could get your tickets, which is basically buying my Vegas NFT. But there's not that much time left. Alan, I see you're here. That sphere does look really crazy. I've seen clips where they play like a giant eye, or they play the moon. They play like a moon or Earth or something. It's crazy. And in the future, you'll be able to see inside too, not just the outside. Anyways, I'll be able to see it when I go to Vegas. Are the blocks being mined faster and faster every year? No, because the algorithm basically becomes more difficult to stop that from happening. So Bitcoin's algorithm is really smart. The more miners there are, the harder it becomes to solve. And then in opposite too, the miners decrease, then it gets easier to solve. So the adjustment happens every 2 weeks. All right, guys, let's call it a day. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll see what happens. But today we had a bad day because we had good data. Again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Bitcoin will continue forward, maybe trading sideways for a little bit, but know that we're getting closer and closer to having an event. And there are major things happening that's separating this cycle from all previous cycles. All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care.